What's up, fellas? So it looks like first we had Shannon Sharp. Now it looks like we have Stephen A. Smith, who have both gone red pill. All right, it looks like it. And you see these brothers speaking out and talking about women and things that's going on in the justice system, mainly because they have their own shit. You would not hear this from them if they didn't have their own shit, their own business. They have their own thing going on now. And so that's why you hear them able to speak so freely on this because they have their own business. But let's get on into Stephen A. Smith going full red pill.
Please, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm going to preface my comments by saying a lot of what I'm going to say may come across as a bit unpopular. But I don't give a damn because it needs to be said. Are these children we're talking about? The Jane Does of the world. The Jane Does that had Busby represent them in the case with the allegations against Jay-Z. A male Jane Doe that's accusing Diddy of sexual malfeasance. Are these children? If they're children, that's not what I'm talking about here. We protect children at all costs. And I understand that. What I'm trying to figure out is what's up with the Jane Doe stuff with adults. So let me get this straight. You don't have to tell who you are, even though you're making an allegation, even though you've turned around and you've hired an attorney, even though that attorney is publicly making these allegations known against a Diddy or against a Jay-Z, and their name gets to get raked through the coals. But you get to live anonymously.
There you have it, guys. That's what we men been saying for years over here in the red pill community. Now, for full disclosure, guys, I don't have an issue with women, people who accuse people of SA or grape staying anonymous, right? Because, nobody wants to walk around with that stigma on them. My issue has always been, well, protect the man too until it's proven that he's guilty, right? If my mama or sister was SA'd or graped, right, I wouldn't want that the whole world knowing about that. Or if I had a daughter, I wouldn't want the whole world knowing about that. I don't have an issue with that. But protect the man's identity also until he's proven guilty. That's just fairness. So this is how we call why when they file these lawsuits, guys, that's why it feels like it's like considered extortion. Because basically if the guy is rich, what ends up happening is the lawyer contacts the person and be like, hey, your name gonna be all in the paper, so you might as well just settle out of court. Y'all guys have no idea how many people probably have settled out of court just because they didn't want their name dragged through the mud, even if they were innocent. Y'all guys have no idea how many of these people. And y'all guys are finding out now why they do it. Because now, like say Diddy, if Diddy had just settled with Cassie, then all this other stuff would not have happened. Now, yeah, Diddy probably deserves it, right? He's a bad guy. But a lot of good people, like the guy Trevor Bauer, whoever's the baseball player. See, this is what happens once you get like that, is that now, hey, if you don't settle out of court, you're going to lose your livelihood. You're going to lose your job. So you might as well just go on pay us.
And maybe I should get drug tested.
Stay off the weed.
I mean, should I, Solange? Should I, Sherry? Mike? Aaron? Who? I mean, what? What am I missing? You get to make these accusations that can cost someone millions upon millions of dollars, that could potentially incite a criminal case, or in Diddy's case, actually be a criminal case, stockpiling on top of the other charges that have been levied against him, that can put him in jail for the rest of his life, and you get to be a Jane Doe? Why am I the only one bringing this up? Why?
Do any of y'all believe Stephen A. Smith would be speaking on this if this happened 3-4 years ago before he started his podcast? This is what having your own does. It gives you the freedom to be your own man. Y'all know goddamn well Stephen A. Smith would not have said this. Y'all know what ESPN would have done Monday had Stephen A. Smith said something like this back in the day before he started his own podcast? He would have had to come on ESPN and apologize. ESPN know goddamn well he ain't going to apologize now because he got his own. All you going to do is free him up to be your competitor. So now ESPN ain't going to say nothing because they don't have no leverage in that. They need him more than he need them now. He got his own podcast.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not talking about children. Anybody that's underage, I got that part. But let me also make this claim. If you were underage 20 years ago, but now you're making a claim like a previous case against Diddy or against Jay-Z, you shouldn't be a Jane Doe then just because it happened to you when you were a child.
Another thing I don't like about it is that even when it's proven that the person was lying on these lawsuits, they still stay anonymous. We still don't know who the girl was that was accusing Michael Irvin. At least I haven't heard anything about it. So like these people stay anonymous, even if it's proven they lied. The girl who lied on Jay-Z, do anybody know her name? Still, right? So it's like we got to protect them even after. So there's literally no consequence to lying on somebody. And a lot of people going to say, well, file a lawsuit, counter lawsuit, slander or whatever. Why you think they suing? They're broke. Why you think they suing? Why you think they ain't going to the police? Why you think they suing? Because they're brokies. What does Jay-Z look like wasting his time trying to sue the girl? That's why he's suing the lawyer. He knows she don't got shit. Why waste his time? Just to prove a point? Why waste all that time going through courts and stuff like that, don't get nothing out of it just to have her file bankruptcy or something? You see Tasha K over there still crying, I ain't got it. These people are broke.
I understand the child part. But ultimately, you have become an adult. And once you're an adult, I'm saying that should be the case. Am I missing something? Is it just me?
Is it just you? Dude, we got a whole thing over here called the Manosphere where we've been talking about this shit for 10 years. Probably longer than that. I don't know what you talking about.
How are you a Jane Doe or a John Doe as an adult? Something wrong with our legal system. And you know, one of these days, see, these are the kind of stuff that I like to get into. I want to get into stuff like this in terms of our legal system. I want to get into divorce cases, alimony and palimony, and the legitimacy of that.
Stephen A. Smith is gone full red pill. That just call it, guys. He's gone full red pill. He is there. He's now talking about alimony, palimony, child support. He just gone full red pill.
To get into child support. How much should you have to give up? How much should you be allowed to get? Etc., etc., male or female. No gender bias here. I'm just talking about our legal system. Because I got to look.
Guys, he say no gender bias, but we know who that was for. That's for men. I guess women get 2% of the time have to pay child support, but y'all guys know the overwhelming majority is men paying child support, right? So he just speaking on what we men been saying for years with this alimony and child support stuff. I never been married and I don't have any kids, so I ain't have numbers for all the women coming to comments talking about, oh, you better. I ain't got to go through it to know what's right and what's wrong.
problems with the legal system. This is one of them. I can't wait to talk to my next guest about this. I need explanations. You get to accuse somebody and never have to identify yourself, or even if you have to identify yourself later. I don't give a damn about that. I give a damn about, why do we know about Jay-Z allegations against Jay-Z, allegations against P. Diddy, but we don't know the names of specifically who's accusing them.
I'll tell you why. Feminists and Democrats. There you go. I saved you. You don't got to research it. Feminists and Democrats. There you go. I saved you. I saved y'all guys some research time. There you go. Feminists pushed all this crap.
Something wrong with that. That's not America, y'all. Or at least it shouldn't be America. Now, before I get to my next guest, I know what some of y'all are thinking, especially in the case of Diddy. I mean, one could argue he has a history of witness intimidation, if not straight violence, based on what we saw him do to Cassie Ventura. History of intimidation and violence against those who are...
Guys, this ain't what he's saying. Ain't in defense of Diddy. This is in defense of men. Fuck Diddy. Fuck Diddy. This is for every man. If y'all guys think like, damn, man, he showed defending Diddy. This ain't about Diddy. This is about men in nationwide and what's going on. As soon as you become successful or got something to lose, you'll become a target.
To go after him. Had a producer here wrote to me, there are legal and practical safety reasons people identify as a John or a Jane Doe. I get that. I got my producers in my ear, they all work. I ain't scared because I'm not making an accusation against a Jane or a John Doe. I'm simply saying the accused gets put on Front Street. Well, what happens if a Jane or a John Doe is found to be less than honest?
One thing I don't like about it is he waited till a man accused Diddy, right? Just said, I wish you would have done this when a woman was accusing Diddy also. So like what a lot of you guys see is when a man accuses assault or something like that, you see people like to speak out on it, like the Michael Jackson thing. When all the little boys was coming out against Michael Jackson, it was okay to get in public and call the boys liars and they lying on Michael. But if that was girls, nobody would have said that. If that was girls accusing Michael, now I'm not saying I believe Michael innocent. I ain't seen none of it. Really don't care. The man passed, right? But this was after Michael passed, and a lot of boys came out and said Michael did this, Michael did that. And then I heard Charlamagne the God come on the Breakfast Club and say, well, he don't believe the boys. He think they lying. But he would have never said that if it was girls. If it was little girls saying that, he would have never said that. So like Stephen A. Smith is deciding to say this now because a man is accusing Diddy. I wonder if he would have said this if it was a woman accusing Diddy.
Forthcoming. Do we get to know their names then? If you rake somebody through the coals? You see, I'm a semi-public figure. My producers ain't. They behind the camera. If somebody gonna sue somebody as a member of this team, who you think gonna receive the lawsuit?
See, that's what he passionate about because he knows that he's a public figure. So he becomes a target. The ones behind them DEI hires that he got behind the camera, them old DEI hires, they ain't worried about it. It don't affect them. So they don't care.
And you get to sit up there and impugn my name, my integrity, but I don't get to know who you are. There's something wrong with that picture. I'm not talking about the Jane or the John Doe. I'm talking about the system. A system that potentially allows the accusers to live in darkness, draped in confidentiality, but the accused, without knowing their guilt or innocence, is put on Front Street. Of course, there's cases where that's justified. And we always learn that. But there are some cases where it's not. Jay-Z came out from day one and said, I am innocent. There is no truth to these allegations whatsoever. The case was ultimately dropped. But that was after his name was raked through the coals. That was after his name was draped in mud. That was after his business.
Had this lawsuit came against Jay-Z 5, 6, 7 years ago when things were different, the NFL would have cut ties with Jay-Z. They would rock everything dealing with Rock Nation, and everybody would have ran for the hills, and Jay-Z would have been like just disowned from the world. Well, things have changed a little bit, right? People are not so quick to judge, and just sponsors are not so, everybody's not so quick to run like they used to, because too many women have been caught lying. So what happens is, you saw the NFL said, we're going to stay with Jay-Z until things work itself out. They would not have done that 5, 6 years ago. 5, 6 years ago, as soon as that lawsuit would have came out, they would have cut ties with him. But just too many women have been caught lying to now with people, sponsors and stuff. I'm not saying all, some still going to cut ties with you. But a lot of them now, they'll at least wait to see what happens. Because they've seen what happened with a lot of these women be lying.
About $20 million in business. And now he has to sue the attorney for the accuser to get some sense of retribution and justice. That's my...
All right, guys. So we'll stop it right there, man. Welcome to the club, Stephen A. Smith, man. You know, I was wondering about you for a second, but it seemed like he's full red pill, guys. Guys like this who are public figures, guys, you'll never truly 100% know how they feel, because they're, you know, work for ESPN, Walt Disney and stuff, so they got to kind of hold back a little bit. But you can kind of see, you saw the Shannon Sharp thing talking about modern women. I guarantee you Stephen A. Smith feels sort of the same way. And I guarantee you Shannon Sharp feels the same way what Stephen A. Smith just talked about right here. I guarantee he does. He probably will never come on his platform and talk about this. Well, I'll tell you like this right here. I kind of feel like Shannon Sharp feels like this, because last time I checked, I think Shannon Sharp was still following Diddy on Instagram, right? And if y'all guys notice, Shannon Sharp ain't said nothing about the Diddy situation. Nothing about the Diddy situation. I don't think that's a coincidence. I don't think that's a coincidence. Do I believe he believes some of these people might be telling the truth? Yeah. But do I believe he probably believe a whole lot of them just lying and want a paycheck? Absolutely. All right, guys, that's all I got for you. I'll get back with you later.